Hello, today I'm going to talk about patience. Patience is something that we need more in this world. It's something that's very key to living, surviving, and having a healthy life. Sometimes we look at life as something that needs to be rushed, when in reality it's something that needs to be taken baby steps, and to look at the small things and look at fine details and take our time. We shouldn't rush how we look at things or how we think about things. Otherwise, we don't understand how things work. We need to take our time and assess the problems, the solutions, and how we can avoid those problems so we don't have to find out solutions for those problems. The biggest one is take your time to assess the problem and make multiple plans and figure out which plan is the best and healthiest one so that you will never have to come back and redo it all over again when it's worse. For instance, I'm a firefighter. When we come up to a fire, we don't just hose down the fire. We assess what caused the fire. If it's an oil fire, then we know not to use just water. We know to use foam, which is a oil retardant. And everyone should know that oil and water do not mix well. That's why we use foam. If we use foam, it'll actually soak up the oil and eventually put it out. If it's an electrical fire, we need to know where the electricity cable is coming from so we can turn it off and start putting the fire out. If we don't do those things, it'll never truly be put out. It will continue to burn and continue to be a problem and possibly even get worse. If we don't make sure that it's out before we leave, then it could just reignite and we'll have to come back and it could be even worse. It could have lit houses or vegetation nearby on fire and then we have to deal with it all over again, possibly even worse, and have a harder time, and we're already tired. So we take baby steps. We assess why it started, how it started, and how are we going to fight it. We can do direct or indirect. Direct is a distance away. Indirect is right against it, basically doing offense. Hitting it with everything we got, trying to prevent it from spreading. If we are hitting it directly, we're basically going to need to stretch out as much line as possible and as many people as possible around the area that is burning. If we do not do that, then it will eventually hop over our line that we do not want to go past, and we have multiple areas marked out. We typically have about 3 areas marked. One is our basic area. We don't want spot fires popping up past this section. If they do, whatever, we put them out. But if it crosses that in the second line, that's when we start calling it last chance. Last chance is the 3rd section. If the fire reaches that area, we let the fire burn itself out to the best of our ability, and we keep it contained and try to push it in a general direction. If we cannot do this, and it becomes a problem and goes out of control, we grab our tents and we make a run for it. If the fire catches up with us for any reason, we deploy our shelters and we wait for the fire to go over us. But we must have patience while we wait in the shelter. Otherwise, if we have no patience and we get worried and cautious and overthink this scenario, you can end up falling asleep and your shelter will get blown off and you will burn or die of the toxic gases. If you do not conserve your water, you'll dehydrate and be sucked from the inside to the out and die from dehydration. If you do not have your tent completely on the ground, the fire will suck into that hole like it's a vacuum and burn that part of your body alive, causing you to move around, and you will be burnt to a crisp and you'll die from the toxic gases in the air. You need to have patience. Our face as close to the ground as possible, hands together, feet and arms spreading the tent apart as much as possible, and trying to breathe the freshest air on the ground. Have your water with you, your radio with you, and have your tool bag as far away as possible from you. Make sure that you have your PPE on. That should be your helmet, your scarf, and your gloves to prevent you from being burnt severely. You'll get hot in the tent, you'll think that you're dying, and you'll think that there's no escape and you're not going to make it home. When in reality, if you stick to those priorities, you'll survive more than likely. If you don't, you will surely get yourself killed. How you can remain calm and have patience in that moment is, 1, talk to your peers around you. If there's no peers around you, then you try to think about what you're waiting for at home. The reason why you keep fighting to survive. If you don't have any, or if you are incapable, focus on your breathing. Remember when everything was calm and only picture that. Remember a time when you were the strongest and keep that in your mind. And then make that scenario where you were the strongest. In life, we need to be patient and be strong. In firefighting, we put everything on the line to save those who need it. We protect and serve, and we do the dirty work. It's a hard, rough terrain that can get us killed. But we do it for the people we love, trust, and want to help. My name's Nathaniel Pattison. I work for Fort Dick Fire, and I will always protect and serve.